Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, our whole mission here is to take that huge stack of sources, the research, the timelines, and just boil it down into something you can actually use, something fascinating.
And for December 2025, it is definitely fascinating.
It seems like it. We're doing our deep dive into the Hindu calendar for that month.
And it's not just a list of dates.
Yeah.
I mean, December is a genuinely intense spiritual month. You're bridging the end of Margashirsha and then accelerating right into Posha.
Which starts around December 5th.
Exactly.
So our goal today is really to give you that shortcut. We want to distill the key events, point out those regional variations that are so important, and pull out the most practical remedies for the month. We're talking about Vikram Samvat 2082 here.
Right. And you need to understand why this period, mostly Posha, is the heart of what's called Dhanurmasa.
The ultimate time for spiritual discipline, for charity, and, that real focus on Lord Vishnu.
It's all about that. The framework is key. Pasha is a month for, let's say, quiet austerity. You're sort of moving away from the big external celebrations and going deeper into charity, daily, and meditation.
But December doesn't start quiet, does it?
Not at all. It starts with a spiritual bang, a massive convergence of really high-potency events that wrap up Margashirsha.
Okay, let's unpack that. December 1st. It looks like one of the densest days on the whole calendar. We've got this huge confluence of events all centered on one Ekadashi. What does that mean spiritually when the calendar stacks things like this?
It means the energy is just massively amplified. On December 1st, you have Gita Jayanti happening at the same time as Mokshada Ekadashi.
Gita Jayanti, that's celebrating the moment Krishna delivered the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna.
The divine discourse. And then you have Mokshada Ekadashi.
Mokshada, which means what? That which grants liberation?
Exactly. So you have the ultimate teaching, the Gita, and the ultimate vehicle for freedom, the Ekadashi fast, happening on the same day. It's an intellectual and a devotional synergy.
So it's like a complete package deal for spiritual freedom.
It is. Fasting, engaging with the philosophy on that one day, is believed to grant moksha, not just for you, but for your ancestors too.
Wow. That immediately gives the month this incredible gravity. And there's a regional aspect too, right? Guruvayur Ekadashi in Kerala.
Yes, that's connected. It's a solar observance, really focusing the devotion on Krishna at that famous temple.
So right after that spiritual high, we get December 2nd.
We do. We get Matsya Dodashi, which honors Vishnu's first avatar, the fish. He's often invoked for, protection from calamities.
And then the evening shifts focus completely.
It does, to Lord Shiva. The evening of the 2nd brings Balma Pradosh Vrat, which is a period of twilight worship, and it's considered especially potent when it falls on a Tuesday, which is Bama.
The calendar really does weave between Shiva and Vishnu.
Constantly.
Now, what about December 3rd? There's a key regional observance we need to flag.
That would be Hanuman Jayanti, but
Right.
specifically in the Kannada tradition. It's tied to Margashirsha Shukla Troyodashi.
And we have to stress the regional part.
You do, because other parts of India celebrate it at a totally different time. It just shows how different calculations, lunar versus solar, give you different calendars for the same deity.
Which is a perfect setup for the huge finale to Margashirsha on December 4th, the full moon cluster. This day feels really significant. It celebrates both spiritual embodiment and, physical food.
It is the ultimate balance. You have Dattatreya Jayanti, the appearance day of Lord Dattatreya.
Who is revered as the combined incarnation of the Trinity Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
All three. That convergence of divine power makes meditation on this day, or chanting the Sahasranama, incredibly powerful.
And at the same time, we celebrate Annapurna Jayanti.
The goddess of nourishment.
It's such a beautiful reminder that all this spiritual practice has to be grounded in the physical world, in sustenance.
Indeed. And the primary remedy for Annapurna Jayanti is Annadanam.
Donating food.
Donating food. It's considered one of the most meritorious things you can possibly do, especially on a full moon.
And the full moon itself, Margashirsha Purnima, is also a big deal.
Oh, yes. Ideal for Satyanarayan Puja, for charity, and for bathing in sacred rivers, the Ganga Snan.
We also have to mention Karthigai Deepam. I understand this is a massive Tamil festival that also lands on this day.
That's right. It's a festival of lights, visually and spiritually stunning. Millions of oil lamps are lit, primarily for Lord Murugan. A huge high point of devotion in the south.
So December opens with this incredible spiritual climax, Philosophy, liberation, nourishment, light.
A feast of devotion to close out Margashirsha.
That makes perfect sense. So now, as we move past the 5th and we're officially in the more austere Posha month in Dhanurmasa, how do things shift? How does the calendar keep that momentum going without, being overwhelming?
Pasha is more like spiritual maintenance. Think of these recurring monthly observances as rhythmic tune-ups.
Okay, like what?
For instance, you get 2 Chaturthis for Ganesha,
Yeah.
Karatha Sankashti on December 7th, and then Vineshvara Chaturthi later on the 24th.
And these are for removing obstacles.
Specifically for removing obstacles that might come up from your intensified inner work during this month. Ganesha clears the path so you can stay focused.
So Ganesha keeps the path clear. What about the other deities?
For Krishna devotees, you have Masik Krishna Jamashtami on December 11th. It's a monthly remembrance of his birth.
Okay.
But what's interesting is on the very same day, you also have Kalashtami,
Which is for?
Lord Kalaparva, a very fierce form of Shiva. And that involves fasting and a night vigil. So you're balancing the gentle celebration of Krishna with this intense focus on Shiva's power over time.
And there's another Shiva day later on?
Yes, Masik Shivaratri on the 18th, another important night for focused Shiva worship.
I'm seeing the rhythm now. It's a constant oscillation between different divine energies. It keeps you alert.
That's the idea.
Now let's talk about the next major Ekadashi on December 15th. Safala Ekadashi.
Safala. It means successful or fruitful.
Ah.
This Ekadashi is really geared towards the householder, the person managing family and career right alongside their spiritual life.
So it's practical.
Very. Fasting on this day is believed to bring tangible success, prosperity, the actual fruits of your practice.
And right after that, on the 16th, it feels like the whole celestial focus of the month just snaps into place. Danu Sankranti.
This is a major pivot, astrologically and spiritually. Danu Sankranti is the moment the sun enters the sign of Sagittarius, or Danu Rashi.
And that's the official start of Dhanurmasa.
That's the official start, and it lasts for a month until the sun moves on.
Why is this period so critical, especially for Vishnu worship?
Well, there's an ancient belief that the energy during this solar transit is perfectly aligned for austerity. Traditionally, things like marriages are paused.
And all that energy is redirected.
Exactly. It's redirected into rigorous Vishnu worship, reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, focused mantra repetition, or japa. It's a very disciplined, dedicated window of time.
And then the calendar takes us to the deepest point of the month, the new moon, Posha Amavasya.
Which spans December 19th and 20th. The Amavasya is always the most sacred time for ancestral remembrance. And this particular one, Darsha Amavasya, is extremely powerful for performing Pitratarpan.
The rituals for ancestors?
Yes. That act of honoring those who came before you is just so crucial for family balance and your own spiritual progress. It's also a time for deep, meaningful charity.
And the regional nuances continue even here, don't they?
They do. The Tamil tradition observes Hanuman Jayanti specifically on this Amavasya on the 19th, which is, key difference from the Canada date we mentioned earlier.
Okay, let's talk about the big astronomical event that hits right in the middle of all this, the winter solstice on December 21st. How does the shortest day of the year feed into this spiritual acceleration we keep talking about?
This is where it all converges. The solstice marks the beginning of the spiritual build-up towards Uttarayana. The days are still short, but this signals the sun's perceived journey northward.
I always hear Uttarayana called the time of the gods.
That's right. Astrologically, it's seen as the beneficial half of the year. So with Posha sitting right at the solstice, it means all your efforts, your meditation, your austerity, are being done in preparation for this huge influx of positive energy.
So it's not a winding down.
No, it's the opposite. It's a period of maximum introspection right before the light fully returns. You're powering up for the year ahead.
That completely reframes the whole idea of Posha's austerity. So moving into the last part of the month, we see more regional celebrations mixed in with this massive year-end climax.
The regional focus is still strong. December 25th is Skanda Sashti for Lord Murugan or Kartikeya.
Right.
The 27th is important for the global Sikh community, Guru Gobind Singh Jayanti. And on the same day, for Malayalam devotees, you have Mandala Puja.
Which marks the end of that intense 41-day Vratham for the Sabarimala pilgrims.
Precisely. It closes out one of the most demanding devotional cycles in South India, a powerful marker of commitment.
But the whole spiritual year really ends with two massive Vaishnava observances, almost back to back.
It does. December 30th is Posha Putrada Ekadashi.
Putrada, giver of progeny.
Exactly. This one is primarily for families seeking blessings for children, for health, and for overall harmony in the household.
And then December 31st is the spiritual headline of the month.
It absolutely is. You have Kerma Dvadashi for Vishnu's tortoise avatar, but the main event, the entire focus, is on Vaikutha Ekadashi.
This is one of the most significant days in the whole Vaishnava calendar.
Without a doubt. It's observed when the Ekadashi falls during this solar period of Dhanurmasa. And in the major temples, Srirangam and Tirupati are the most famous. The Vaikuntha Dwam is opened.
The heavenly gate, that's such a profound metaphor.
It symbolizes the chance for maximum spiritual ascent. Devotees will do a complete fast. They'll dedicate the whole day to chanting, especially the Vishnu Sahasranama.
Believing that any good act on that day is multiplied.
Exponentially, that it grants them passage to Vishnu's own abode, Vaikuntha. This period, the 30th and 31st, is the absolute peak of Vishnu devotion for the year.
Okay, so now that we have this map, the austerity of Pascha, the focus of Dhanurmasa, this buildup of energy towards Uttarayana, let's make it actionable. You mentioned December falls during Himant Ritu, the cool, stable winter. How does that help?
The calmness of the season just supports mental focus. Your body is naturally conserving energy, which makes it a perfect time for extended meditation, austerity, and especially for pilgrimages, tirth yatras, without the exhaustion from summer heat.
The climate itself supports inner focus.
It really does.
So given the intense Vishnu focus of the month, where should you prioritize spiritual travel?
You have to focus on the key Vishnu centers. Tirupati Balaji is optimal. Worshipping there during Dhanurmasam, especially attending the early morning Suprabhatam ceremony, is considered highly, highly meritorious.
And for Vaikuntha Ekadashi itself?
Srirangam. The Sri Ranganath Swami temple is unparalleled. They have these elaborate rituals all centered on the opening of that gate, the Dwaram.
What about for those connecting more with the philosophical side, with Gita Jayanti on the 1st?
Then Kurukshetra is essential. You can visit Jayotisar, the actual spot where Krishna is said to have delivered the Gita. It just brings the teaching to life. Or, of course, Mathura Vrindavan is a perpetual center for Krishna devotion.
And if you're drawn more to the Shiva energy we talked about, the Pradosh and the Shivratri days?
Then you focus on the potent Jyotirlingas. Kashi Vishwanath in Varanasi is magnificent during the winter, and Mahakaleshwar in Ujjain is incredibly powerful for observing those Pradosh Vrat and Kalashkami rituals we mentioned. It grounds you in that timeless Shiva energy.
Okay, let's get even more practical. The sources talked about addressing specific planetary imbalances, or doshas. You said this month is the perfect time for that. Let's start with Guru Dosha, that feeling of being blocked, a lack of progress.
Yes. Since Kosha is so tied to Jupiter, or Guru, through Vishnu worship, this is your prime time. The number one remedy is reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1,000 names of Vishnu, daily.
And what about charity?
The traditional charity is donating yellow items, things like turmeric, bananas, or chana dal, split chickpeas, to a temple or to anyone in need.
And how does this connect to dealing with that feeling of heavy obstacles, which is often linked to Shani, or Saturn, Shani Dosha?
Shani Dosha is all about acts of service. You mitigate Saturn's influence by serving others, so the practices are very practical. Serve the poor, the elderly, the disabled, and at the same time, offering mustard oil to a Shani idol can help balance that heavy energy.
And for Pitru Dosha, those ancestral imbalances, the Posha Amavasya gives us a very specific window.
That Amavasya on the 19th and 20th is absolutely critical. Performing Pitru Tarpan, the ancestral rituals, is the main focus. If you can travel, going to a place like Prayagraj Sangam or Gaya for deeper rituals is highly recommended. The energy of Pascha really amplifies the results.
So, to wrap up the actionable knowledge, what are the simple daily things someone can do that are amplified by these calm, cool winter energies?
Consistency and purification. It's that simple. A morning Surya Namaskar for physical health. Maintaining a focused, sattvic diet with warming things like ginger, jaggery, nuts, and ghee. And dedicated mantra chanting.
Like what?
Simple but profound ones. Om Namah Shivaya and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just be consistent through the month.
And what are 2 simple acts of charity that carry maximum weight in the cold?
First, blanket donation. It's a direct act of offering comfort. Second, deep dan, donating a lamp on both the full moon on the 4th and the new moon on the 19th and 20th. It symbolizes bringing light into the darkness.
And one final practice.
Try to meditate during Brahma Muhurta, that hour and a half before sunrise. It is exceptionally effective during these calm winter months.
We've really charted the entire landscape of December 2025. It's so clear that it's not a passive end to the year, but this powerful month of focus. A bridge connecting huge celebrations like Gita Jayanti with deep regional traditions.
It is a month that really demands your focused effort.
It seems so.
So maybe here's a final thought for you to carry forward. We talked about the winter solstice on December 21st, how it marks the spiritual beginning of that Uttarayana energy, that buildup of light and positive potency.
The return of the light.
Exactly. So the question to think about is this. How might strategically aligning your most rigorous spiritual practices, your most focused japa, or your deepest charity, in those final 10 days of December, how might that maximize their spiritual return for the entire year ahead?
A profound thought to consider. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.